All right, now that we've looked at the Scratch editor and we've learned the different parts of the editor, we'd like to learn, how do we program Scratch? How do we create a program that does what we want it to do? So it would help to talk about what is a program. A program is just a list of commands that are put together to teach the computer to do some task. That task might be very simple, such as just teaching the computer to say hello world, which is the first program that most every student learns in their very first computer science class. The program can be as complex as Microsoft Word. You want to teach the computer how to create a Word document. Well, that is a very complex set of instructions. Let's look at what programming looked like before program languages like Scratch. This is a program that I pulled up. It is made for Blender. It's a small portion of a script for Blender. Blender is actually probably a million lines of code when you look at it. So as you go through this script or this set of programs, there are a lot of commands. Def, smooth path, parentheses, self, comma, context, comma, ob equals none, and parentheses, colon. What does all that mean? As you learn programming, you would learn what this means. But when you first start programming, all of these commas and colons and parentheses have a tendency to make cause frustration among students. One simple comma being out of place, or one colon or one semicolon, can cause hundreds of errors in a program. So what MIT did was say, let's change our approach, and we're going to work with blocks. We will program the blocks behind the scenes, and the user just has to drag and drop to build their scripts. So let's look at this palette again in a little more detail. We're going to concentrate on the first three categories of blocks. Blocks, like I said in the last movie, are put into categories. So we have motion. The blue blocks, you'll notice they're color-coded. The dark blue are motion blocks. And you have different types of blocks. Move, you can turn. You can turn counterclockwise or clockwise. You can point your sprite in a certain direction. You can actually point him towards another object in the movie or another actor. You can move to an X and Y location, and when we talk about motion in a little more detail here, we will talk about X and Y's. You can actually move to an actual sprite on the screen. You can have the character, instead of just appearing from one spot to another, you can have him slide across the screen to a certain XY location. Or you can only change the X. You can set the X, you can change the Y, or you can set the Y. You also have some special ones. If you are on the edge of the screen, you can make him bounce, which turns the character around so that he goes in the opposite direction. You can set the rotation from left to right, or from right to left, or don't rotate at all. You can't do right to left, sorry. You also have some blocks which show you the X and Y position of your character and the direction he is currently pointing. If we look at looks, these are words that the character can say. For example, you can tell him you want him to say something for 2 seconds, or you can just make it continuous. You can have him think, which puts a thought bubble up for 2 seconds, or you can have him continuously have a thought. You can show the character or hide the character. You can switch to any costume that's in the list of costumes that that sprite has. You can change the backdrop. You can change the color of your character. You can change a lot of different aspects of the character. You can clear all the graphics effects that you do. You can change his size. You can set the size, or you can move him up or down in layers. You'll notice also that there are 3 more blocks here at the bottom that allow you to see what costume number you're on, what backdrop you currently have, and what size your sprite is. So let's look at how you create a script. A script for Scratch is just a group of commands that are put together. You'll notice I'm going to drag a move block out into the scripts window. You'll notice that every block has a notch at the top and a notch at the bottom. If it doesn't have a notch at the bottom, then that is the end of the program. If there's no blocks underneath, that's the end of that script. So, in this script, I'm asking the cat to move 10 steps. Well, how can I get him to do that? If I click on this block, you'll notice that he follows the directions. I can change the number of steps by simply typing in the number of steps after I click on it, and now he moves further. If I'd like him to do more than one thing, I can drag another block out, and you'll notice when I get close to where it's supposed to connect, the block highlights. When I drop it, they connect together. And now these 2 blocks are connected. Click on them and you'll see that it should turn 15 degrees. There we go. He's also moving at the same time. That's the basics of how to put a script together. We'll build our first script in the next video.